Okay, the next one that we're gonna be looking at is the coupling base. The coupling base is gonna have dimensions of inches. And we're gonna kind of approach this by creating kind of a oblong circle for the outside first, then the inside, and then the ear, and then the hole. That's how I'm gonna approach it, okay? So let's go over to SolidWorks. There's a couple of ways that you could look at this. And again, I'm gonna do one good way, but there's multiple ways that you can look at it. So I already set up my units to be IPS. I went to my options and I did my document properties, checking my units, as well as making sure that my dimensioning scheme was ANSI, and switched it over from ISO. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do an extrude boss base. I'm going to look at the top view, and the reason I'm going to look at the top view, because I'm going to look straight down on this, because this would be my front view. So looking down would be my top view, and I'm going to create like the oblong portion. So if I go here, I'm going to sketch on my top view. And what we're going to do is we are going to draw two circles. So I'm going to go the outside diameter circle. I'm going to put it in line with the origin. I'm going to show a radius here. And then I'm going to do another circle in line with the origin. And I'm going to put another circle there. Okay. Now, neither one of these are on the origin, but we're going to dimension them to the origin. You're going to notice that this is 3 inches apart. So we're going to go 1.5 inches from one side and then 3 inches between. Now, going back over here, we're going to smart dimension the outside diameter of one of the circles. And it has a radius of 1 inch on the outside. So the diameter needs to be 2 inches. Okay. Now, I'm going to hit the OK button here, or escape to get out of the dimension command. I want both of these to be the same size all the time. I could dimension the other side to be 2 inches independently, but if one changes, the other one won't. So I can add a relation. So I'm going to add a relation. I'm going to select my left circle and my right circle. And now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click equal. I want these two to always be equal in size. That way, if I change just the one dimension, both of them will always be the same value. And I'm going to hit OK. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to add the two outside lines. So I'm going to do a line. I'm going to go to the very top. When the quadrant activates, I'm going to click. And then when the quadrant activates, I'm going to click and hit escape. You do the same thing on the bottom. Line, quadrant activates, click, quadrant activates, click. Then I'm going to get rid of the inside portions here by using the trim function. Notice that I did hit escape to get out of my line command before I start my trim. So I'm going to click on the trim. I'm going to left click and I'm going to hold. I'm going to go across. I'm going to continue. I'm holding, and then I'm going to release. So that both parts are now going to go away and be trimmed. Okay. Now you'll notice that I'm underdefined, so I need to add my dimensions for the locations of the centers of either side here. So I'm going to smart dimension from the origin to the center of the left circle, 1.5. Oops. Sorry, I think I hit some. This dimension is a driven dimension. What do you mean? Delete. So let me try that again. Smart dimension from that center to here. Make this a driven dimension right now. Okay, so I added the dimension of 3 inches between the two centers. And then I added 1.5 from the center to the origin. And now that's going to define their position. If I hit OK, it does. I think where I see it is I need to add a relation. Notice that I have a tangency up here and a tangency down here, but on this side, they're not there for some reason. So we're going to add a relation. And we're going to go from here to here, and that's going to be tangent. And then okay. And then add a relation. Now, if yours kept them, totally fine. Let's see, I got to unselect that. Now I have to add a relation, and I'm going to go from here to here and make that tangent, and then hit okay. And I'm still underdefined. Equal. Oh, I know. I have to have these centers in line with the origin, because even though I did the blue line over, SolidWorks doesn't always remember that. So I need to add a relation because this is my driven circle. I'm going to take this circle and the origin and make sure that they are I started on my top view. I thought I did. Hold on. Let me try again. From the origin to the center, we can do horizontal. Horizontal will be fine. Keep those in line. Okay. And I'm still on, I should be fully defined. It says down here, so I'm going to left click. I am fully defined. So make sure that you have a horizontal, or I think it's collinear sometimes, to the actual origin here. So you're going to add relation from the center of that arc to the origin and make sure that they're horizontal. And now I'm fully defined, so I should be able to exit my sketch. And I'm now going to make that a thickness of 0.5. There we go. Okay, once we have our base here, we want to make sure we want to expand out our sketch, and we want to rename our Boss Extrude 1. So left click it, right click, rename. I'm just going to call it the outside base. I don't know. It's the outside. Okay. I'm going to left click to kind of unselect it. And now we're going to make the inside cut. So, so I'm going to go up to extrude cut on this surface. And now what we're going to do is, we're going to kind of do that same process. I'm going to draw my circles at the center. So I want to activate this arc, and I'm not clicking on it. I'm just activating it. And then once I get close to the center here, I'm going to click on it so that it grabs that center. And then I'm going to do a radius and hit OK. Smart dimension that diameter. And then that needs to be 1 inch diameter because it's a radius of 0.5. Now, if I click OK here, this is fully defined because I share the same center as the arc on the outside. If you are offset from that, you want to add a relation so it's coincident with that center. Now I want to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to do a diameter. I'm going to activate the center. I'm going to click on that center that's activated. And now I'm going to left click again and hit OK. I'm going to unselect that. I want to add a relation so that my 1 inch diameter over here is going to be the same 1 inch diameter over here. So we're going to do another equal relation. So add a relation from this one inside circle to this one. And we want those to be equal. So down here, the add relations equal should be in your list. And then we're going to hit OK. And then you're going to see this equal come up. Okay.
Did you say inside the circle or on the side of the circle? Add the relation.
You want the outside diameters to be the same. So you want to click on the outside perimeter of each one of those circles. And then you're going to notice they populate the list. Yep. And then the equal comes up. Now we're going to draw our line across on each one. So we're going to do line, go from the top to the top. And then we're going to go line from the top or bottom to the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to do our trim function for the inside of the circle so you can continue and extend and release. We're still fully defined, which is good. Okay, because we're using the inside axes of the outside radiuses. Okay. So now I'm fully defined. I'm going to extrude cut this portion. So I'm going to exit my sketch. I'm going to rotate this a little bit and I'm going to do, I guess, through all or up to next, whichever one you want to do. It's going to give you the same result. Okay. We want that to go through and hit OK. I'm going to do a quick save on this. So file, save as, and this is called coupling base. Okay. Okay. So now we have our center cutout. Before we move on, I'm going to expand it out, show our sketch number 2 is fully defined. And we're also going to, oopsie, click on it once, right click and rename it for inside base. That's what I'm going to call it. Outside base and inside base. Again, you can come up with something more creative and fancy. That's totally fine. Just rename it. Don't leave it the basic name. Okay. So now I'm ready to add my cutout in the front here. So if we go back to underneath, I want to add this part right here. So I know that it's 1.5 inches wide. And as we look at this, you can see that it's probably centered. So that means from our origin, it's going to be 0.75 in one direction, and then it's going to be a width of 1.5. So how I'm going to approach this is I am going to actually create a rectangle on this top surface and we're going to extrude it down, extrude cut it. So we're going to extrude cut on this top surface. And then we're going to draw a rectangle and we're going to start on the left-hand side of the origin on that bottom part and then go up to the other side right there. So that's going to be my rectangle. And I'm going to select on that bottom line and the upper line. And we're going to hit OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my dimensions for the left and right directions. So I'm going to smart dimension from the origin to, I'm going to pick the left. You could do the right-hand side as well. And that needs to be 0.75. Oops. I'm going to double click that 0.75, not 1.75. And then I'm going to add another dimension from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and this is going to be 1.5. Enter. Now the thickness or the width of this is set by the thickness of the actual feature underneath. So if I hit my OK and I left click, notice I'm fully defined here with those 2 dimensions, as long as you do your rectangle on either side there. And then now I'm going to exit my sketch. I am going to rotate this to check. Up to next, and it looks good. So I'm going to hit OK. And now this is going to be, I'm going to left click, right click, and this is going to be my, I'm going to call it a notch. I don't know, or something else. Enter, and then I'm going to expand my sketch and do a quick file save. So the next feature that we're going to add underneath here is going to be this ear over the top. We're going to make that solid first, and then we'll put the hole in last. So I'm going to go back to SolidWorks. I'm going to rotate this so that I will be able to select this face right here on the inside. Okay, you could flip this around and do it from the back side, but I'm just gonna kind of do it from this side here. So this is gonna be an extrude boss base. And I'm gonna click on this surface right here. Okay. Now my origin is gonna be at my center here, all right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a circle and I'm gonna kind of activate that origin and go, once it's activated, I'm gonna go straight up and I'm gonna get that blue dotted line. And this is gonna be like it's in line with that. I'm just gonna do a click and then a click for the radius and then okay. All right, now you're gonna notice it didn't add a relation to be in line with this, so we're gonna have to add that. If it did add it, great. That means that you would see a green box here with a vertical line because we want these vertically to be in line with one another. So I'm gonna add a relation and I'm gonna select on the origin and the center of my circle. And I want those to be vertical to one another. So you should now get a vertical relation. Okay, and now all that means is those are going to remain in line with one another vertically. And then I'm going to add a smart dimension from the center of my hole to the bottom of my part. And then this is going to be 1 inch. Okay. And then lastly, the radius or the outside diameter of this, the radius is showing at 0.75. So my diameter is going to be 1.5. And if I click off of that, I should be fully defined, but this isn't where I want to end. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to take lines and I want to go straight down to this surface right here. So I'm going to do my line from my outside quadrant. Notice that when I go to the corner here, it activates and I'm going to go straight down to that line there. Okay. And then I'm going to do a line again from this quadrant all the way down. And then I have to close it. So I'm going to close right there. Now I have an extra line. I have a couple extra lines here. I've got to get rid of the portion of the inside of my diameter because I only want this part right here over the top. So I need to do the trim command. So make sure you're out of, any other line command or anything before you start the trim command by hitting escape. I'm going to trim and I'm going to do these one at a time. I'm going to start on the inside. I'm going to left click, drag across and release. I'm still in my trim command. I'm going to left click, drag across and release. And then left click, drag across and release. And then I can hit OK. So all I want left is the radius part, the top part of that circle, the 2 lines going down and a horizontal line joining those 2 together. And now I'm going to do my smart dimension. Oopsie. From the bottom to there. Oh, I know what I need. I know what I mean. And I don't know why it doesn't add this. We need tangent from this arc to the vertical line. So I'm going to add a relation again. Arc to vertical line, tangent, and then okay. Then I'm going to do that same thing on the right-hand side. Add relation, arc, vertical line, and oops, it didn't add it. Did I select that? Oops, let me try again. I think it did 2 lines. Add relation, arc, vertical line. There we go. Tangent and okay. I'm going to click off and now I'm still underdefined. Huh. To there. I don't know why. Okay, so my line right now, right here, if I left click on it, I can move it. It is not attached down here. So again, I need to add another relation. I'm going to add a relation for, oops, that line is selected. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna hit escape, add a relation. I think I have to go this line to here. collinear. There we go. Okay. And now if I click off of that, now I'm fully defined. So I had to anchor that line and make it collinear to the actual base portion here. So now you're going to notice I have my sketch on that front edge of the inside of my base. So I am ready then to exit the sketch because I'm fully defined. And now you gotta look. It's actually coming in the wrong direction. So I need to flip that direction. And instead of blind, I always want it to be the same width that this is. And yes, it's a 1/2 inch, but I'm gonna say up to surface, and I'm going to rotate this around and I'm going to go up to this surface right there. Up to next is not available. I'm not exactly sure why, but we can do up to surface, but we have to select that back surface by rotating around. And now looks okay. There we go. Last part of this is really just to expand this out, show that your sketch is fully defined, and then left click and right click to rename. I'm going to call that the ear. And then I'm going to do a quick save. Okay. So our very last feature then is to add the hole going through our ear. So if we look back underneath here, that hole is a diameter of 0.75. So we can put this in with the hole wizard, or you could do an extrude cut. I understand that some people in the room right now, the hole wizard isn't working quite right. I am going to demonstrate that. If yours isn't working, you're getting an error that we can't solve right now, then just do an extrude cut on that. So I'm going to do the hole wizard. I am going to put my type in as a hole and see inch, make sure that that's there. All drill sizes, not double sizes. So all drill sizes. And then I want my size to be 0.75. So I'm going to go down until I see 0.75. And then up to next or through all is totally fine. I'm going to do up to next. And then I'm going to click on the position tab. Position. And I'm going to click right here on this face. Okay. And now I'm just going to like place it. All right. And then I am going to smart dimension. Now, what you should be able to do is to add a relation. So I'm going to add a relation and I'm going to go from the center of my hole and I'm going to activate the center. Oh, did it do it already? Oh, shoots. Shoots. I'm gonna redo that position. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do it one more time. Hole wizard. I got everything set up here. It's gonna remember that position. And I'm going to go on this face right here. And I'm gonna intentionally go off. I should have done that first of all. I want to be off of this. And then I'm gonna go to smart dimension. And then I'm gonna go to add relation. And I'm going to go from the center here to the center. Is it going to activate the center of my point? And I want those to be concentric. So now notice that it's making from that arc to that center to be concentric. That means that they share the same center. And I'm going to say, okay. And you'll notice that down at the bottom, it says fully defined. So you don't have to add any dimensions. Then I'm going to hit OK. And now it puts it all the way through. All right. The extrude cut is going to be easier, but it's nice to kind of get to use the hole wizard because we will be referencing it throughout. So it's a good introduction. And you'll notice that it automatically sets it up for us. You're going to want to expand out so we can see the sketches. Okay. You don't need to do a name on this because it already, with that hole wizard, puts it in there. But if you do the extrude cut, make sure that you call it, the hole. And then we're going to do one more file, save. And then you're going to be ready to take your screenshot.